Let's talk about Scary Movie 6. So we had talked about Scary Movie 6 earlier, where they were going to be going up again, where they moved their time, their release date, and now they're going to be going up against Masters of the Universe. Get my theories on it. I definitely think that Scary Movie 6 is going to wipe the floor with Masters of the Universe, even though I like both franchises. So, of course, I'm sure you probably all saw the trailer right now. And one of the scenes in the trailer, I think it was like literally in the beginning, where they made a non-binary joke while they were doing the little subway scene. We saw Megan and Jason and all other stuff up in there, and they were showing this girl that was holding up a sign. I think if you pause it right enough, you get to see she was holding up a sign that said something about Harry Potter. Which I'm word on the street is I'm hearing Paul Bettany is in talks to play Voldemort in the new Harry Potter TV series. That's the rumor that's floating around now. Before it was Killian Murphy, now it's um Paul Bettany, who plays Vision in WandaVision and in the MCU movies. But anyway, so the whole they them thing, Pink News did a story on it, and here they would want to saying this. Pronouns are a sensitive subject. They shouldn't be, given how we use them daily, yet their mere mention triggers a deluge of remarks from both within and outside the Leviticua community. Well, they said all the acronyms, LGBTQIA+. Look no further than the swift backlash Scary Movie 6's trailer has received as evidence of that. At the center of the unrest is a simple, albeit unoriginal, pronoun joke. In the opening moments, we see a black character being stabbed by a Scream villain Ghostface. Upon witnessing this, an onlooker cries, "He stabbed her," to which the wounded character responds, "Not her, my pronouns are they/them. He stabbed them." So now, the person wrote the article said, "I laughed. The absurdity of the moment, that bombastic, over-the-top way in which the Wayans poke fun at all was funny. Refreshing even. It takes an interaction that every non-binary person has had, granted now while being stabbed, and makes fun of the way in which we're forced to defend our pronouns. It's ridiculous, but that's precisely the point. Yet upon venturing to Reddit, I was shocked to see many reacting to a wholly different way. Transphobic reactionary trash and low-hanging fruit concisely summarize how infuriated some individuals are. While I don't deny the joke is best past its sellout date, I believe our reaction to the joke is the bigger issue than the punchline itself. And first of all, y'all need to stand the fuck down because number one, the Wayans, particularly Marlon Wayans, is an ally. He has a trans child. So when y'all going to sit up there and go on Reddit with your dumb discourses and your bullshit, oh, it's lazy, oh, it's this. And this is exactly why we have assholes like fucking Gavin Newsom who's going on podcasts and talking about we have to meet in the middle and we have to stop putting so much emphasis on pronouns and all of that other stuff, throwing trans people, non-binary people under the bus because he's trying to run for president and thinking that coming into the center is actually going to help him. When running center in politics, especially as a Democrat, that doesn't work anymore. We had a whole conversation earlier in between topics where we was talking about people want progressive. People want somebody who's actually going to come out here and fight for the American people. No longer are we doing this whole center moderate bullshit. So when y'all sit up in here thinking that you can make fun of everybody, but you can't make fun of the LGBTQ community, that's annoying. Everybody is, I'm all about equal opportunity offensive jokes, but you got to be clever about it. And yeah, it's low hanging fruit and it's absurd, but Scary Movie is an absurd franchise. All the jokes is low hanging fruit. Where the fuck have you been? But of course, it's got to be Gen Goddamn Z with this bullshit. The same ones that was over there bitching about America's Next Top Model. These are the same ones that was probably on Reddit bitching over a they them joke. And I don't give a fuck if y'all don't like what I had to say. You can kiss my ass. Everybody's allowed to have their differences of opinion. But we can't sit up here and act like we the goddamn word police. This is why the Republicans have been able to go in and weaponize this shit to their advantage because of y'all reaction in this way, the sensitivity of it all. Now, often it said it's in its bid to be quote unquote respectful, but much representation feeds into a particular narrative of the non-binary community, one that has a troubling past of depicting us as an agonistic, ashamed, confused, and isolated. We're rarely shown as a normal part of society, as people who can laugh at ourselves just like everyone else. At a time where the film industry feels too nervous to champion queer stories, this inclusion in Scary Movie 6, while not an obvious act of advocacy, has given us a place in one of the biggest parody franchises. We're not included for tokenism. We're part of the comedy because every community is called out for its quirks and idiosyncrasies. Moreover, the joke feels like a commentary on how society views us rather than how we see ourselves. But let's suppose that it is poking fun at our pronouns. Is that a cruel portrayal? The Wayans brothers haven't said their joke with vitriol. Their tongue in cheek humor is designed for a quick laugh, a trait that they're renowned for and have built their reputation on. Moreover, the fact that Marlon Wayans has a trans son speaks volumes about how this joke is meant to be received. If the same joke had been told by Ricky Gervais, a man who has a whole timeline of controversial comments about the trans community, I'd be more concerned. Who's making the joke is important here. And that's why I said stand down, because Marlon Wayans is an ally. But y'all quick to go on the people that actually is for the community instead of the people that's against it. And that's often the thing that I be seeing happening way too much in this whole space. Now, Wayans is someone uninvolved with the queer community, but an individual closely associated with it through his ongoing support of his son. And yes, both comedians are cisgender nonetheless. Wayans has insight into gender identities that Gervais neither has nor cares to have. He has no intention of trying to educate himself, whereas Wayans has. Let's also not forget Dave Chappelle. Having moved from an initial place of denial, Wayans accepts his son for who he is. This isn't to say allies can't be ignorant. They can be, even if unintentionally so. Still, I highly doubt that Wayans' intention. Not only does the joke show an understanding of our community that only comes through actual engaging with it, but it also proves that the Wayans brothers accept everyone through the vehicle of comedy. And let's also not forget that Sean Wayans is playing a gay man in the video and probably gonna play up every stereotype under the sun. And what I'll be doing in the theater is laughing my ass off. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, how in the hell are you gonna laugh at somebody else? Yes, I had to use a RuPaul quote. Um, and it said, what else? I'm not alone in my opinion. Trans activist and author Dean Whitnell shared a post on their Instagram about being gagged to see a they slash them joke. When I reached out to them to discuss the backlash in more depth, Dee had this to say. I love the inclusion of the they slash them joke in the Scary Movie 6 trailer. And yes, it may be an old joke. It may also be lowball, but that's the beauty of the franchise and this joke. I would have felt differently if Marlon Wayans wasn't a huge ally for the LGBTQIA plus community, but the fact that he is actually highlights how much he understands and cares for the community by including this joke. The Scary Movie franchise takes hits at every social group in a high camp and parody manner, and I'm grateful to be included. Yeah, because any other time y'all be out here quickly bitching and moaning. Oh, they ain't why we don't be seeing this represented. We don't see that like when Heat of Rivalry came out, everybody wanted to be represented in that damn show. And I'm just sitting there like, with the success of that, it will open a Pandora's box for more shows like that to get made. And I'm sure that will happen. But it's like damn if you do and damn if you don't in this situation. Now, having referred to themselves as equal opportunity offenders, and that's why I said that's the type of comedy I like. I'm an equal opportunity offender. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, the Wayans don't shy away from the fact that their comedy targets all, saying, consequently, I feel like it would be more concerning if they treated non-binary identities as off limits. We've come to we've become so accustomed to being excluded and or misrepresented, forever searching for basic respect, so we're naturally on the defensive to protect ourselves. Our once soft edges, not soft edges, chair, have been sharpened by society's treatment of us. In our quest for respect and tolerance, we've started to become steeped in a rigid seriousness that stands in the way of our joy, similar to how we handle mental illness. In a bid to be taken seriously, we're afraid to find comedy within these challenging moments. We chastise those who refer to themselves as crazy or insane, yet for some of us living with these struggles, dark humor is a salve that helps us heal when I quip about rocking backwards and forwards in a corner because of my severe anxiety in my way of accepting the reality of it's my way of accepting the reality of my disorder, which oftentimes is suffocatingly overwhelming. Now, Scary Movie 6's joke is doing similar for non-binary representation in film. It's normalizing our place there. In being included, we're accepted alongside everybody else. Like it or not, it's inclusive, though perhaps not in the way some had envisioned. When we take a step back from believing every element of comedy needs to be thought provoking and challenging, we permit ourselves to engage with our lives through a more forgiving and joyful lens. If we continue to forget this, the recognition we strive for will come at the cost of losing our humor. But more alarmingly, will also stand in the way of our own progress. If we take ourselves too seriously, are we not part of the problem as well? Are we not at risk of feeding into the very unfair narrative we're trying to fight against? So I totally agree wholeheartedly with this entire article because I was feeling that way too. It's like we got to stop standing in the way of our own progress because oh, you can't say that about us. Oh, you can't make these jokes. Oh, then that's why people always come in like, y'all too sensitive. And that's why when you have people within this current regime that have decided to weaponize pronouns, trans people in bathrooms, athlete, all of that stuff because it plays into the whole cancel culture angle because a lot of the queer community have complained about, well, you can't say that about us. Oh, you have to call me by this. Oh, you have to meet me where I'm at. Oh, you can't say that. So you're policing everything people say. And of course, when you have these comedians and all these other people that very much lean ignorant in the way of like a Dave Chappelle or a Ricky Gervais, they decided to switch that and weaponize it because they don't have the words to articulate what it really is. And it's like we shoot ourselves in the foot when we don't leave ourselves. Now, I'm not saying you gotta accept any kind of disrespect because if you're gonna come outside and say something ignorant and try to cloak it in a joke, then we could check them. But if it's like something harmless, it's like you didn't stab her, you stabbed them. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's low hanging fruit, but it's funny. It's a quick laugh. We moved on to the next thing. But you making it seem like you can't say nothing because a lot of y'all running around here too goddamn sensitive. And that's going to hurt us in the end because then Hollywood takes that as, oh no, don't we can't say nothing about those people, so they're not going to get the representation. That's where they look at it because they don't know non-binary people, they don't know queer people. So but someone like from like a Marlon Wayans does because there's a relatability there based on his child. Now they said even though the adversity we overcome needs to be shared on the big screen, so too do our lighthearted experiences. All are equally deserving of a moment in the spotlight. We're allowed to enjoy comedy that pokes fun at us because we are funny. There's no harm in admitting that. Absolutely. Look, I know some gay people that are the funniest under the sun. Some people say I'm even funny with some of the stuff I say. But yeah, there's one thing that we gays are real good at is being funny and being humorous. And the fact that we run around taking ourselves too damn serious, it's like take the stick out your ass. So as I stated before, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I'm looking to see like how funny this movie is, and if there's anything that teeters on the okay, that was just you were doing too much and it's cringe. Then we'll have that conversation. We cross that bridge. But y'all sitting me here bitching and moaning over the whole they them thing in a line of a joke in a movie in a trailer actually because what we didn't see the movie is a commercial coming attraction. Then it's like, go outside and touch some goddamn grass. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the whole Scary Movie 6? They them joke where of course the queer community is getting their tits in a twist because apparently you can't say nothing without people getting all sensitive about stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.